What's going on, everyone? It's Christian again, and today I'd like to show you guys how to change a flat tire. Anything can happen nowadays where you run over a nail, hit a curb, and you got yourself a flat. And there will be a time where you're not going to be able to call Triple H or roadside assistance, and you're going to be able to change it yourself. So I want to show you guys, what to expect, where to find your tools, and how to properly jack up your car and change it. So the first thing you want to do is check your trunk. You're going to pop open the latch, and you're going to find yourself your spare and your tools. And the tools you can expect are your jack, your lug wrench, and then possibly a third tool to help you jack up your car. So the very first thing you want to do is loosen up your lug nuts on your flat tire. So what you want to do is come over to your flat tire. You want to grab your lug wrench, and I want you to loosen up your lug nuts in a star formation. So I want you to start at the top. You want to shoot down, across, and then back down. And that way, it'll loosen them up, and you're not going to mess anything up in the rotation of the wheel. So what you want to do next, now that you've got it loosened up, is you want to grab your jack. You're going to bring it over, and for the most part, most cars will have a designated spot where you can put your jack so it can jack it up. Because if you put it somewhere where it's not sturdy, or the frame of the car somewhere stable, it could cave in or it could slip out. And you don't want none of that. You don't want more problems on top of the one you already have. So you could peek down there and try to find a spot that's made for the vehicle. Or if you can't find one and it doesn't have one, what I like to do is grabbing one of your extra tools and kind of not hitting around, but kind of feeling around and trying to look for a kind of a metal on metal sound. And that probably means you found your frame of your car. And that's the best spot that you can put your jack, because the frame of the car isn't going to bend, it's not going to warp, it's not going to go anywhere. So once you find the frame of your car or your designated spot, you want to take your jack and jack it up, not too high, but high enough to where you can almost scoop it underneath. You kind of place it right underneath your spot that you picked out, and you can slide it underneath there and try to place it as close as possible without actually jacking up the car yet. That way you can feel it out and place it in the perfect position. So now that I'm jacking it up little by little, inch by inch, feeling it out. I got my spot located. There we go. Yep, it's looking good. And you want to turn it with your fingers until you can't anymore. That means you got yourself in a good position. So now you want to take your other tools, and here I got my lug wrench. You might get one of these where it has a slit in the middle, and that's where you get your other tool and you insert it. And by doing this, it helps you out in more leverage. It'll give you leverage when you're turning it. In some of these cars, it'll be hard to turn them without it. So now that you've got your jack in, you want to turn it clockwise. Yep, make sure it's in there. Yep. Turn it clockwise to jack up the car. Now that I got it going, yep. You don't want to go too fast. You want to keep it at a nice tempo. That way nothing moves out of the way, nothing slips out. Taking precautions, avoiding any further troubles. There we go. And what you want, your goal is to get 2 to 3 inches of airtime on your tire. That way you can slip it in and out fairly easily. So boom, we're getting it done. Yep. Get some airtime. So now that you got some airtime, let's just say I got some airtime. This bad boy's heavy, real heavy. So I got some airtime. You come back over, you disconnect your tools. Boom. You're gonna come over, and now that you've got them loosened up already, prior to, you want to completely take them off in a star formation. You're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. You got them off. Now you take your tire off, you place your spare, and you want to tighten them up firmly in the same exact order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. You got your spare back on, you got your lug nuts nice and tight. So now what you want to do is come back over and lower your jack. And you don't want to do it too quickly or too slowly. Since you're in a hurry, or you're in a blizzard, you're in the middle of nowhere, it's dangerous. You want to turn it counterclockwise, and it'll slowly lower the jack. Once you realize that you've got some slack time, when the tire's on the ground, you can give it some elbow grease. Give it that elbow grease you need. Boom. It's on the ground. It's nice and loose. Now I can turn it with my fingers and it'll come out pretty easily. Boom, boom, boom. We're getting this bad boy done. Bingo. Now I've got it out. So now what you want to do is grab your lug wrench, disconnect your tools first. You want to come back over and tighten them up as tight as you possibly can. So that way you can move on, get to the nearest shop and they can properly tighten them up with proper torque. Because each lug nut has its own torque, so it can ride at so they won't come out essentially. So it won't loosen up while you're driving, and you won't get a loose wheel and it flies out, because that would be very dangerous. So now that you got them, tightened up, you should be good. You can put your tools away. You've got your spare back on, and you should be golden. I mean, I hope this never comes to it where you guys have to change a spare. Change your flat tire, because it's difficult in certain situations. So I hope it never comes to it. But if it does, you can always look back to my video and I'll show you guys how to do it. Thank you.